Bed. Love.
Bed.
Bed.
Love. Beyond.
Bed, love, beyond. Bed, love, beyond. Welcome to Bed, Love, Beyond, the podcast for the hopeful and the hater in us to discuss sex, love, relationships, and whatever's clever with like-minded people like you who are also in limbo with love like us. I'm Jen, and I'm here with
Miss April.
What up?
What's going on, guys?
What's going on, April?
Daily dish. Let's see. Well,
Daily dish.
as you guys know, we have our little
I can't
mine went blank.
I can't even help you
What's
with
the
that.
book thing? Audible.
Oh.
So go to Audible and follow our link on the page. We have the link on the page.
Yeah.
Follow our link on the page. Get your download your Michelle Obama book. It came out yesterday. It's called.
Oh, I wonder if she reads it.
It's called Becoming, and I mean, I haven't started it because I'm in the middle of another book right now. But I've thumbed through it and I've watched a couple of interviews of her talking about it, and it
Barack Obama strongly recommends it. Just saying.
I like his little declaration to her or whatever you want to call that. It was sweet, but she does narrate it.
Awesome. And that's at www.audibletrial.com/Bed Left Beyond, the whole thing, like a Tribe Called Quest.
Yes, I wanted to make sure she narrated because I looked it up, but then I forgot. But she does narrate. I just wanted to make sure she does narrate
I think
it.
I might want to listen to that. That's how I'd like to read it.
Yep, and they give you a sample so you can hear her. But she has a really cool, interesting story. She's not just, before she's
not just telling you what it was like to be the first lady.
Right. She talks about
cares.
her life first before Barack and then with Barack. And she.
Did you ever see Southside with You?
No. I saw the one Barry, but that was before her. That was his life before her.
Yeah, I watched it the other day. It was actually really good.
So, yeah.
I think it was on Netflix. I know
it's Tika Sumter and who plays Barack?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if he's known.
But John
yet.
Legend
he produced
it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I gotta watch that. I saw the one called Barry. That was pretty good too. That kid was pretty good as Barack Obama.
I don't know if I saw the.
It's like about young Barack when he's like just in college and just running around Chicago.
Considering like the president we have now, Barack Obama was like an anomaly. It's crazy. Yeah. Like
overqualified.
I mean, I wasn't I wasn't overly fascinated with Barack Obama when he was our president. I was just like happy and proud, and I think he made great achievements. But like now I am. Like, sometimes like it really takes like a shit show to like show you how good you really had it.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was great. I wasn't like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. He's turning water into wine. I wasn't like that about it. I'm not really about that about anybody in politics, let's be honest. But now I am. I'm like, did I tell you about the $4,000 I got back on my car? That's all I really got. But
yeah, you could download it for free with a 30-day trial and follow our link. And she's narrating it, and it seems good so far. I thumbed through it. I read little is that prelude? What is it?
Excerpt?
Beginning?
Oh,
it's
I don't know.
Not an introduction, but
like a prelude.
Beginning. Yeah, I read that. So saw some interviews. She got some really good stuff in there. So
nice.
Do that. That's my daily dish. Nothing
I
else
went to
exciting.
an adoption seminar yesterday.
Okay. What happened?
Like, okay.
What happens there? Enlighten us.
Some lady with perfect teeth tells you about the program. It was like in the basement of the library in Hackensack. A beautiful library, by the way, Hackensack.
Mm-hmm.
Bravo. The lighting down there was like the lighting at Target. So both me and my boyfriend probably looked like crackheads because we were like squinting with the damn fluorescent lighting, and we were like in this tiny ass room. It was me and my boyfriend, another Caucasian couple who were older, and they brought their kid whose name was not Seymour, something with an S. Sawyer. Her name was Sawyer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. She said she'd never been to Chuck E. Cheese.
I
was like, I don't know if you guys deserve kids. No. And then there was like two other like very white Caucasian ladies. I don't know why this is important to the topic, but for me, I was like taking like a frequency of like what was happening in there. just as a social worker, I was kind of like taking like statistics. And then
Mm-hmm.
there was this other lady, I really couldn't tell you what she was. I mean, she might have been Hispanic, might have been white. There's a lot of single women in there.
Mm-hmm.
Me and the married couple, I'm assuming they're married with Sawyer, and me and my boyfriend were the only other like couple in there. And she told us basically about how the whole foster program worked, and I don't know. The more I listened to her, the more I was like, I don't know if I could do the whole like having a kid ripped out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like me, my boyfriend, I didn't ask him anything. Like I just let him listen, and she was like very like upfront about it. You know, like you're gonna have to bring the kid to appointments to meet his mom, and sometimes his mom isn't gonna show up, so you kind of have to deal with like the disappointment of that.
And you can't have a kid that doesn't have like a family, right? That's just was abandoned. Like, can you request?
Well, you can't foster a kid like that, but there are kids who are just. She said there are kids that are not free agents. I forget the word she used, but they're like already
Up for adoption. Right.
So they're wardens of the state. Unfortunately, nobody wants them.
Right.
And
but all these kids are older.
Most of them, I'm
Most
assuming,
of them are older.
Or she said there's a lot who have autism now that they're getting. There's a lot that have medical issues. But you know, she said explain the whole thing. So basically, what we would have to do next is fill out this application, which isn't very lengthy. She said if you have a dog, like they ask you if you have your dog's records, because they're like, if you're not taking care of your dog, you're probably not going to take care of a kid. Thank God Geisha died, because I don't know where that dog's medical records are. I mean, she had shots, but let's be honest, she was a mutt. I don't know where they are. So you fill out the paperwork, you call the number, somebody comes to your house, picks up the paperwork, and then they do like a quick like inspection of your house, not like anything big, but just to make sure that you actually have a room. Because like, even though this basement would be considered a room, it's technically still considered a basement. She said a room has to be a door with a window big enough for a firefighter to fit through. Not so if like you have like one of those like basement rooms that are like finished,
right? He
or she couldn't live down there. And it has to have a closet. If it doesn't have a closet, it's not the end of the world, but they do want it to have a dresser. And it has to have a door for privacy. So, and I do meet those requirements as soon as my roommate leaves. So I did ask her, I was like, would I be able to fill out the paperwork now, and then you guys come and do the home inspection after? Or they can come see the room now, but I just don't want to like include my roommate on the paperwork.
Right.
But she said no. So
it's got to be just the people who are going to be
right. I mean, he could have stayed here, but then I wouldn't have had an extra room. So like, but I also think that would be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So we went through the whole thing. We listened to the whole spiel, and I've kind of heard it before, and like I kind of sat there with like an uneasy feeling about the foster care stuff, because although it's like a really nice gesture, like wanting to start a family, like I don't feel like that's the direction we'd want to go. Because it's like you're still not starting something of your own, especially if like, you know, you only keep the kids for a couple months at a time. You never really kind of start your own thing.
So do you consider like a private adoption? Like if you just...
I wasn't, first of all, like my boyfriend was kind of against adoption to begin with. He went to this to kind of see if it would open his mind to it. And I don't know what she said, but we walked out of there, and I was like, I'm not going to ask him anything until we sit down for dinner. I'm going to just let him breathe on this. I'm not going to push it. But we walked out of there, and the first thing he said is, damn, I want to adopt a kid now. I was like, you are very easily brainwashed. Thank you.
Do not take him to a timeshare. One of those timeshare seminars.
Seriously, we'll walk out of there with a whole row of condos.
You will be going to Disney World for the rest of your life.
But he said, he's like, I feel a lot better about it. And he's like, I was like, would you be willing to do the classes? Because you have to do 27 hours of classes. And he was like, yeah. He's like, I think he would better prepare me. And I was like, well, how do you feel about the foster care? And he was like, no. He's like, I don't really know if I'd want to do that. He's like, I really would want to just do the adoption. But the thing about the adoption is that, like, you could pick an age range, you could pick race, you could pick sex, which I would leave those two things open. Age range, I don't think I would. I mean, I would want like
a specific
2 to 5-ish.
Right.
But
So if you want to do strictly adoption, they call you when they have a kid that needs to be adopted.
Basically, like you
in
give
that age range.
You give them what your profile is. You tell them like if you're okay with different races, different sexes, and then you tell them if you're okay with like them having medical issues or learning disabilities or whatever the case may be. But like, and then they go through the whole database of New Jersey.
So there's a waiting
There's
list?
probably a waiting list.
Okay.
Like, there's probably tons of teenagers that need a home.
Right. But people want to raise a child.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. So I don't know how that's going to work. But.
And also, some people, I mean, once they get through the criteria, you might come up faster than you think.
Right.
Because a lot of people, I remember being told a lot of people want babies.
Right.
So, I mean, the fact that you would take 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Right.
I mean, leaves you more open than.
Hopefully.
Yeah, a lot of people just want babies.
So it was exciting, and I was excited to hear that he was like more open to it, and he felt a little better about it. And like both of us kind of wish we could have like filled out the application, because at least like it takes. You said the whole process takes 5 months, so that would pretty much bring me to like when I got back from vacation. But we really can't start until then because my roommate doesn't have anywhere to live right now. So until then, we'll see what happens.
But at least you're mentally preparing.
Yeah.
So
like, I know they said there's a lot that they'll help you with, but they'll come in and then like based on the age range, they'll tell you like what kind of bed you should get and stuff like that. And she said that like they do give you like a stipend to help you. And she's like, that's not us like selling kids. She's like, that's basically us assuring that, you know, these people who are willing to open their hearts and their homes to people have everything that they need. But honestly, the way I feel weird about taking money like that, I would just put it like in an account for the kid and make sure that like I only bought things for the kid. But the one thing I do like about adopting through the state as opposed to adopting through an agency, besides the fact that the state covers all of your adoption fees and your lawyer fees, which is very, very helpful because anyone who has adopted or spoke to someone who has knows that it can cost like upward of $50,000. And that's a lot. But what I do like, and it might sound like a little selfish, but like, so basically she says that they're going to send you like almost like a bio of the kid and it'll say like everything about like why he was removed or she was removed, any kind of like problem she or he has had in school, why the parents like terminated their rights, how long they've been terminated the rights, what foster care systems they've been in, and then like tells you everything you need to know about them with a picture. And then if you're like, oh, this sounds like it might be a good match, then you can meet that child in the community somewhere. That's how Chuck E. Cheese came up. So she's like, sometimes we'll do something fun like Chuck E. Cheese, but she's like, anyone who's ever been to Chuck E. Cheese knows that like you can't even have a child's attention there. So
right.
She's like, but maybe that would be like a fun meet, and then you know, next time will be someplace a little quieter. And then like if you start to feel comfortable, then you can do a couple overnight visits like on the weekend. Like so they'll drop them off Friday night, pick them up on Sunday. So you'll do that for a couple weekends. And then if that's going well and you say, I think we're a go, then you still have like a 6-month adjustment period where you kind of, it sounds super terrible, but like you kind of get to feel out the child and the child gets to feel you out. Because let's be honest, like any kid, all kids want to be loved and want a home. And depending on the age of the kid, they're probably going to put on like a little bit of like a show.
Right.
But during that time, you kind of like know whether or not this kid's going to like burn down your house or or, you know, you guys are going to be responsive, you know. I've worked with a lot of families who adopted kids from other countries, and they kind of just go to the country and they're like, this is your child. And then they come home with them and they're like, holy shit, this kid is like
there's
omen.
No adjusting. There's no.
Yeah. So I do like that. And then she said after the 6 months, if everything goes well, then they proceed with the court and make it a legal adoption.
I had a friend back in school. Her grandmother adopted her, but I think the grandmother was given a little stipend until the adoption process was over. But that's something I remember when I was doing CASA, which is like a child advocate for kids who's in the system. It's like a volunteer program. But I remember like, you know, people use it for like summer camp and like the Y, like really expensive stuff. So it comes in handy, and I mean summer camp is really expensive. So like stuff like you may not like say like, oh, you know, I didn't get my stipend, you can't eat yet.
Right.
But like stuff like that so they can go to camp and stuff.
Right.
It came in handy. Yeah.
or play sports at school or whatever the case may be. So
Right. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I don't know. It was interesting, and I'm definitely glad that my boyfriend seems more comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's at his mom's house now talking to her about it. Who knows? But that's all that's really going on in this end of the world.
Okay.
Nothing exciting.
I'm sure that might be like informative for people who were thinking about it and didn't make that first move yet. So
yeah, go to a seminar. Go see if it's something that you'd want to do. I don't think it's for everyone, but
at least if you go, you'll know.
you'll know. Yeah, it's a free
It's
seminar.
better than sitting on the couch like, I don't know. Just go somewhere. Walk out, no strings
and I think
attached.
the thing, she was like kind of giving you like statistics of like how many kids are actually like still in the foster care system.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sad. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see. But I kind of came home and I saw my roommate. I was like, God damn it! Don't you have someplace to go?
How's that search going, buddy?
But like, did you get the Zillow app yet? Like, you should.
See this Trulia?
So, but there's that movie that's coming out with Mark Wahlberg and
I saw that
about the adoption thing.
Mm-hmm.
So my boyfriend
like, should we? It was like the one. He's like, should we tell them good night? Like, I don't know. Should we kiss them good night? And the little girl's like, you guys are overthinking this whole thing. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, it looks cute.
Mm-hmm.
And I think November is adoption month.
Mm.
So I'm coming out at a good time, and it looks like a feel good movie. I was like, can we go see that? And she's like, yeah, I guess. It's like, thank you. But that's what guys are supposed to say. Besides, there's not a Marvel movie coming out for a while, so. And that's what we're talking about today, isn't it?
Nice segue, Jen.
Yeah, that's my thing. Not so smooth. Episode 138, chick flicks or man picks? What's a chick flick, April? What's your definition of a chick flick?
I always think of romantic comedies or rom-coms for short. When I hear...
I didn't know what a rom-com was like about a couple years ago.
Really?
I was like, what's a rom-com?
That's what I always think of. That's where, the for example, the wedding planner, my best friend's wedding. Anything about a wedding is probably a rom-com.
Monster-in-Law. Anything with Jennifer Lopez.
Right.
Made in Manhattan.
Sleepless in Seattle, You've Got Mail. Those things.
What about like Mean Girls?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a rom-com, but I think it was definitely a chick flick.
I would say anything like centered around two people meeting and falling in love, or anything centered around like women, girls trip, women going somewhere.
Oh, did you ever watch The Duff?
Yes.
Designated Ugly Fat Friend?
Yes.
I like that movie.
That one was pretty good. Anything about romance or a princess or like Princess Diaries or anything like I hate to say girly, but I mean, where the subject is a girl, the girl's going through something, she's the star of it. That's usually what people would consider a chick flick. A man pick is probably a sports movie. Something starring a guy about a sport, a biopic about a guy, something with a man with a gun, a heist movie, some kind of shoot 'em up movie, gangster fic, martial arts. I would say that's what man picks would be. And it's funny because I feel like men want to see what romantic comedies.
I think so too.
But they don't feel like they can say it because they've been designated chick flicks.
Right.
And I think sometimes if something, especially if you're a movie person, if you're a movie buff or a movie head, I call people movie heads.
Yeah.
In this conversation, yes, you could be somewhat excluded because I feel like movie heads will watch anything.
Right.
So I kind of was like, I asked a few people like about the subject, but like I could tell when I was talking to people that will watch anything. And I kind of want, like, we kind of want to exclude you guys. Like, we want people who are kind of like, about movies. Like, oh, I'll go once in a while. Or like, oh, I want to, like, or if they do want to see something, it's something they like because they rarely go to the movies or they just like one specific genre of movies. So I would say horror too tends to be
I love
man
horror
picks. Yeah. I love sports movies, and I don't like any of the sports that I mean, I watch boxing, but I love a good football movie, and I do not watch football at all. And I love, like, Remember the Titans,
Gridiron
Any
Gang.
Given Sunday, Gridiron Gang, Wildcats.
Oh, what's the one with Oh, I love that movie with Keanu Reeves, and he's the baseball coach.
Hardball.
Oh, so good.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
When he was 12. Yeah. Any sports movie. What's the one when the kid's name was Henry Rowan Gardner, and he broke his arm and it made him pitch, and he got
not Fast Pitch. Damn, I know.
Sandlot. We have to find the movie. His name was Henry Rowan Gardner.
Okay, Google. What's the movie where the main character is Henry Rowan Gardner?
Thomas Ian Nicholas's movies include Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year.
Thank you, Google, with the assist.
Yes.
So
this is why we need a live audience. Can y'all vote for us to get our own little show? We need our own black table talk. Put this table in the middle.
Brought to you by IKEA.
But yeah, Rookie of the Year. There was another one called Little Big League where he took over when his grandfather died and became the manager of the Major League Baseball team. His grandfather was the owner or something, and then he took over. I love sports movies. Those are like my favorite kind of movies.
I like war movies, actually.
Yeah,
I really
like
do.
war movies.
I like
gangster flicks.
Three Kings.
Mm-hmm.
I
like The Hurt Locker.
The Hurt Locker was really good.
Where's the Jarhead?
Jarhead was good.
Mm-hmm. Like Jarhead.
That movie's so
Saving
good.
Private Ryan.
I never saw that one, actually.
I like what's the other one with I like Red Tails, about the Tuskegee Airmen. Oh, what's the other one with Black Hawk Down?
Oh, okay.
That was good. And the one with Meg Ryan dies. That's Saving Private Ryan?
Spoiler alert.
But you know she died. That's not Saving Private Ryan.
I don't think so. I never saw it.
No, that's Denzel Washington is in it. It's like one of his.
Not A Few Good Men, right?
No, but that's one of my favorite too. I'll get the Meg Ryan movie for you guys.
Well, I was looking. Well, I put a poll, and I was really finding a hard way. I was finding difficulty wording the question. Mm-hmm. So I asked people what their favorite chick flicks or man flicks were. One friend mentioned Fried Green Tomatoes. Someone else mentioned Along Came Polly, which is funny because that's a Ben Stiller film, and he's kind of like the lead character, really. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if guys probably dig that. Someone said Bridget Jones' Diary. I watch it with my men, Ben and Jerry. I was like, I get it. And my friend, a guy said Godfather, Goodfellas, and Scarface. And I was like, the actual question is if it's like a Netflix and chill night, who gets to pick the movie? And do you guys watch chick flicks and vice versa for the ladies? And he replied, I'm a man and therefore smart. I let Tara pick the movie. And I was like, thank you.
Mm-hmm. That's his wife.
Yeah, his wife.
Mm-hmm.
My other friend said she watches Devil Wears Prada, Pretty Woman, Dirty Dancing.
Courage Under Fire.
Never saw
That's
that
the
one.
Meg Ryan, Denzel Washington war.
Okay.
With La Bamba. What's his name?
Richie Valens. No.
His real name, Lou Diamond Phillips. He's in it.
I'm like, Richie Valens for the win. No.
Yeah, that was really our question. Like, you see a trailer. Let's set this up. You see a trailer. It's my best friend's wedding. Mm-hmm. Let's just say you're a guy. You like Julia Roberts. Are you going to say, I want to see that? Or are you going to say, I can't see that? That's girly. That's really the I mean, women, we're going to say we want to see whatever.
Right.
We're not going to really be boxed in that way with movies. We can watch whatever. So that's the real question. Like, and do women? Another question. I mean, sometimes we are boxed in. Do women give those movies a chance, or do they just feel like, oh, it's too much blood, too much guts, too much gore, I don't want to watch it? When there might be like a really cool storyline behind it.
I personally try to watch some of them. Like some sci-fi things I can't get into. Like listen, I watched Star Wars when I was a kid. Don't really care to watch them now, but I did watch one with Da Vinci last year. I guess it was not the last. Well, no, actually I saw the last one that came out.
Mm-hmm.
The Luke Skywalker movie, and then the one before that. And they were good, but they weren't like, oh my God, cinematic greatness.
Right.
You know, but in return, like, he'll come see, like, The Meg with me.
Mm-hmm.
Or, what was the last chick flick that we saw? I don't remember. But the secret is, and my boyfriend might kill me for saying this, he likes those movies.
Mm-hmm.
He likes The Wedding Planner. And he'll be like, oh, wait, I want to see what happens. But you know what happens. You'll fall in love. And, like, he was like, did you ever see Up? I was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's the best love story. And I'm like, he'll quote things from it. And the other day he was watching Wall-E.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you make me nervous. But, I mean, I guess that's the sentimental side of him, and I'm glad that he has it. But I put the question in the podcast group, who's helped us out before. And this guy, Ryan, said that he actually makes his wife watch Love Actually with me every Christmas. I moved to the U.S. several years ago, so it reminds me of home. As well, being a slapper of a film. I guess slapper means funny. You guys talk so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I love that. That's nice. Love Actually, I think, is one of those, you know.
I do think people, too, have these little, like, rituals, like, oh, I like that movie, but it's a Thanksgiving movie. So if I watch it at Thanksgiving, it won't seem like I like chick flicks because it's a Thanksgiving movie. But I tell you, while you were sleeping, my top 10. I don't give a damn what you want to call it. But when you think about most so-called chick flicks, it's some kind of element of men in there.
Right, of course.
There's some kind of like man
unless
perspective
it's like unless
through.
it's like an Eat, Pray, Love type movie.
Right, where it's totally centered on this woman and her experience as a woman.
Right.
But like, and I'm like, and then maybe it'll help out you guys to like watch a movie like that.
Right.
Like maybe you'll see more so where different women perspective, different women coming from. Maybe it will like I mean, we wouldn't hesitate to watch a movie about a man's journey.
No.
Like, you know, like we're not gonna say, oh, that movie's for men.
Slumdog Millionaire. I was so mad when I found out what that was about.
But it's like,
I was like, wait, it's about what? What the fuck?
Like, I don't know what, I can't think of a woman that would be like, besides, if the movie is not like shoot 'em up, gore, Rambo, Scarface, I can't imagine a woman like, I don't know, that's a man movie, I'm not going to go watch that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like women watch anything. I mean, but I do know some women that's like, oh, I can't stand all the bloods and guts and gore and shooting and violence. And I know a few women like that.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, but that's the world.
Right.
I mean, you live in the world. You turn on the news, it's bloods, guts, gore, and violence.
But I wonder, I mean, maybe we could do a study one day if you guys answer our questions. I wonder if those people find each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people who are, like, completely against, like, blood sports and, like, violence like that. And we're like, oh, I would never watch Scarface because, you know, when Manolo shoots up the thing or whatever, like, the case is.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, they're with partners who are like, ew, I'm not watching Pretty Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how badass what's-his-face is in the movie.
Right.
I'm not watching it.
And then somebody comes along and says, all right, I'll watch Pretty Woman if you watch Scarface.
Right.
And then we're like, oh, Scarface
like,
was good.
This is a cinematic greatness.
This was awesome. Yeah.
But, I mean, I think maybe, like, people like that, like, stay in their boxes sometimes. And I think you should try to get out of it because movie watching, unless you come from a home that doesn't do that, which, listen, I'm sure there are out there. But if movie watching is, like, one of those things that you can spend quality time together and do something that each other want to do that, you know, shares their interest and vice versa.
And the thing is, too, I mean, a movie genre that you don't really look at, or it's like any other entity that exists that has genres,
right?
Like music. I mean, if you would if you don't usually listen to a genre of music and you meet somebody and they're like, oh, like I like country, I like jazz, I like this and that, and you usually just listen to, I don't know, 90s R&B, and they put the jazz song on and you're like, oh, this is nice. You know, what that's no different than you saying I really don't watch those type of movies.
Right.
And they say, and they put the movie on and you're like, oh, this is good. Like, you know, I mean, most movies find a little something somewhere in everybody. I would vouch for that. Most movies, you're gonna find a little something somewhere that you connect to.
The only thing I don't watch that my boyfriend watches is the news. I can't stomach it, not because of what's going on necessarily, but it's just like so monotone, and it's just like so like I kind of feel like it's a little one-sided, and I don't like being told information that I feel like I should be reading about and like checking out both sides of the spectrum.
Without getting the whole, like you're not getting
the whole story, right? Like this is your side of the story, and even though your side of the story fits my agenda, like,
and this is your side of the story because of who owns your station.
Right. And I'm just kind of like, and he watches the right side, but you know, whatever that is. But like, I still am kind of like,
and it's some people who flip back and forth. Like,
right.
I watch this side to get this perspective,
right.
and then I'll turn to this.
And then you got to figure out the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Right.
But I won't watch that. The only thing he won't watch, like, I'll watch The Voice. I watch, like, you know, New Girl. When New Girl was on, he'll watch that. I watch Married at First Sight. He gets sucked in. He's like, oh, what's going to happen? But he will not watch This Is Us. He watched like 1.5 episodes and he started like tearing up and he was like, fuck this show, I'm not watching it no more, it makes me upset. Damn.
But I think that's also might be a reason guys don't want to go see romantic movies, because they don't want to see they don't want their emotion, their emotional side to be triggered,
right?
Because it's like, if you're in a relationship, I've heard a guy said to me once, why would I want to go watch that when, like, I'm in a relationship, I'm already dealing with
emotions,
love stuff. So I'm like, well, maybe it's funny.
You're like, maybe you shouldn't say dealing.
That's why it's romantic comedy. That's why the comedy is added on there. It's funny somewhere, or allegedly. But I think that probably part of it. But I think, like, if you like love, you like your relationship, you like, you know, family or whatever. I mean, what is the difference in watching it in a movie?
My mom, like, when my mom first met my boyfriend, she like suckered us into going to iPic with her, and that's when we went to go see The Light Between the Oceans. Man, listen, you weren't ready for that. I was like, this is not where our relationship is right now to be watching this.
Yeah, that movie was really deep. It was deep.
So an article I found on EW, I guess it's Entertainment Weekly, said that they were questioning whether men secretly like romantic movies. And they say that proof is running the surveys that that people should stop referring to them as chick flicks.
We have chick flicks in quotes, I believe.
Yeah.
Because
they really are, you know, on both sides of the world, men and women like them. And then he talked about like The Holiday. That was a good movie.
Yeah, it was too long, but it was pretty good.
Is that the end of the article, or that's it?
And the title, "Do Men Secretly Like Romantic Movies?" is like that's the main point of us talking about this. Like, why do they have to secretly like a romantic movie?
Right, either you like it or you don't.
Romance is a part of life. Like, when a man's trying to get in your pants, he'll tell you all kind of things. Like, I'm a romantic dude. Like, I can do romance. I do romantic things. I know how to be romantic. Like, men will tell you that all day long when they want to sleep with you. As soon as they comfortable enough with you, y'all did whatever. And now it's like, you know, yeah, nah, I don't do that. You know, so it's like.
So these are movies. They made a list of movies that are romantic that guys will get behind. Up was one of them. That's the Disney Pixar movie. Meet Joe Black, which I've never seen, but apparently it's got something going on there. Apparently Gladiator was a romance movie for guys. Because he didn't want to lose his family and things of that nature. Hook, 1991's Hook. I don't know about that. I haven't actually never seen that. 1942's Casablanca. I think everything in the 40s. Oh, I guess that's it. It's a very short list. Damn. And
I think
done.
the most important part of this article on EW is, according to the Wire Service, a psychological study shows that men like romantic movies almost as much as women do.
Right. Just
That's
tell
the
us.
line that stands out to me the most. Like, and I believe that. I don't know who they studied, who the sample was. I don't know, but I believe that. I think that's true. I think that's what a study would show. I just think men, it's a problem with saying it, and like without being embarrassed.
Toxic masculinity.
Yes, exactly.
There we go.
All roads leads back to that, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's a damn shame.
It really,
If
really
you
does.
like goddamn Wedding Planner, damn it, it's fine. Jennifer Lopez was really good in that. It's okay if you like it. The whole thing with the M&Ms, come on.
Oh, I only eat brown M&Ms. Oh.
Like, and so
But didn't you feel a little fucked up that like he left his fiance? Even though they realized they weren't right for each other, and
well, that was the thing. I mean, she left him because they wasn't right for each other anyway.
right,
So
why? He kind of found an out.
Yeah, basically, basically. But like, so I took 10. Every time we say chick flicks is in quotes. So I took 10 chick flicks and 10 man picks, also in quotes, and looked up who wrote them and who directed them. Who wrote them, who directed them. I use IMDb.com. I did not look at how many women on the production crew or all the rest of that stuff. Who did the cinematography or whatever that word is. I ain't look at all that. I just looked at who. So it may have been women involved at all angles in this movie, but I looked at the super creative part. Who wrote it, who directed it. So The Wedding Planner, directed by a man, written by a man and a woman. The screenplay. When it says written, that's either screenplay or novel. So just take that, look it up if you want to see exactly what it is. My Best Friend's Wedding, written and directed by men.
Damn.
Sleepless in Seattle, directed by a woman, written by a man and a woman. You've Got Mail, screenplay written by women, directed by a woman. Brown Sugar, written and directed by men. Brown Sugar was Taye Diggs and Sanaa Lathan. That's a little less box officey than the other one. So, Think Like a Man, written and directed by men, based on a book by Steve Harvey. Pretty Woman, written and directed by men.
Wow.
That's probably why she was a hooker. I feel like I heard once that Pretty Woman was a modern day Cinderella. I don't know. That's true. 10 Things I Hated. 10 Things I Hate About You, directed by a man, written by women.
Great movie.
Made in Manhattan, written and directed by men. While You Were Sleeping, written and directed by men.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Such a good one.
The man picks: Die Hard, Rocky, Creed, Den of Thieves, Bad Boys, Scarface, The Godfather, Training Day, Rambo, Enter the Dragon, all written and directed by men.
Hurt Locker, directed by a woman.
I just picked 10.
But directed doesn't necessarily mean written. Who is The Hurt Locker written by? Okay, Google.
I think it was
Who
based
wrote
on a
The
book.
Hurt Locker?
I think
Hurt Locker is a 2009 movie directed by Catherine Bigelow, starring Jeremy Renner, Anthony Mackie, and Brian Jarrety.
That's not what we asked you, bitch.
I think The Hurt Locker, I could be wrong. I think it was a biopic. I think somebody wrote a book. I could be wrong though.
So nobody has to like write that per se.
But when you say like adapted into a screenplay, the person they get the rights to your book, and then somebody sits and writes a screenplay based on your book. So they kind of wrote it.
Oh, screenplay was by Mark Boal, but directed by Catherine Bigelow.
And then the director takes your screenplay and turns it into, the cinematic greatness that we see. So, and then I kind of went into like the vigilante heist tough women movies that I think men might kind of feel more comfortable seeing, just because it's like badass. There's guns, there's car chases, so they feel like, okay, this is women in here, but there's some guns people being shot at and car chases. So Set It Off, directed by a man, screenplay by a man and a woman. Widows, which comes out November 16th.
We'll be in there.
Directed by a man, written by women. Point of No Return, directed by a man, written by a man and a woman. Jackie Brown Men, that's a Quentin Tarantino movie. Colombiana Men that stars Zoe Saldana. Not a big blockbuster, but it was popular. Drumline, directed by a man, screenplay by men and women. And then I left biopics open, like Bohemian Rhapsody, Ali, Remember the Titans, Casino. These are biopics. Casino, Hidden Figures, Wolf of Wall Street.
Casino's a biopic?
Mm-hmm. Sam Rothstein was a real, those are real people. The Sam Rothstein played by Robert De Niro.
As you guys listen to this podcast, you're going to learn that April knows all these very odd, fun facts.
Unfortunately. I will hit up IMDb real quick.
She's like, did you know in that movie that the shingles were not the right... I'm like, what the...
Changeling. Y'all got to watch Changeling. That's such a good movie.
Now, is that a chick flick?
It's such a dark movie. I don't know. It's dark, Changeling. I feel like Changeling, I don't quite remember the trailer. Well, I kind of do. But I feel like it might be just because people will just see Angelina Jolie and it's a period piece.
Right.
But then it's so dark. It's like you don't know what's going on. You don't know if she's a killer. You don't know if she's just crazy.
Some lose me. But I did like Atonement.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I saw that. Who was in that again?
I feel like I saw her name. I forget her name. Hold on.
I feel like I saw that. I feel like with biopics, it could be either way. Like, I feel like, okay, Ali. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like with biopics, too, they pick somebody that men and women are going to want to watch.
Keira Knightley. And James McAvoy.
I think I saw that. I feel like with biopics, they pick somebody that men, even with, like, Creed, I feel like they're not going to have somebody not hot play Creed. They had, like... They had to get somebody young and hot like Michael B. Jordan. Right. Not even like the young part. Of course, it's going to be somebody young now. Have somebody 50 playing Apollo Creed's son. But, like, he had to be some kind of sex appeal. You know, like, Ali. Like, it's a boxing movie. It's about Muhammad Ali. It's a sports movie. Men are going to want to see it. Again, they got Will Smith, who's going to draw in the women. So I feel like sometimes they do tend to market it to both biopics to men and women. I feel like the trailer, because if I remember correctly, everybody, you could correct me if I'm wrong, write in whatever. I believe the trailer to Ali, they showed the little romantic elements with him and the little scene with him and Jada Pinkett dancing and, so they were getting you with the romance in Ali. They were getting you with the romance, but then... they're getting the woman with the romance. They're getting the men with the sports. But they also cast Will Smith. Like, they could have cast somebody not so handsome to play Muhammad Ali. But, I mean, he was a handsome guy, but that doesn't always happen. I mean.
And I think there's, like, different spectrums of, like, chick flicks. Like, I was just going through the list of the 17 best movies for chick flicks for 2018. And there's movies like Midnight Sun and Every Day and Forever My Girl, which I haven't really even heard of, that are like kind of like very like, yay, we're all like in love, and or like the ones where like someone's gonna die and they fall in love. Ugh, I can't. What's the one with George Clooney and he lives in Hawaii?
Oh,
and his wife dies.
The one he got kids.
Yeah,
I forgot the name of that. That's not Up?
No.
Didn't that have one?
Up is a cartoon, actually.
Okay, but that had a one-word. I thought that had like a one-word title.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Speaking of George Clooney and Michelle Pfeiffer, One Fine Day. That is in my top 5.
One Fine Day.
Top 5 rom-com.
And Michelle Pfeiffer and Bruce Willis in The Story of Us.
Good one.
I made my boyfriend watch it. Oh, The Descendants. Did not know what that shit was about. Nobody warned me. I was like, oh, The Descendants. What can that be? It sounds dark and scary. Holy shit.
Trailer showed the wife dying. Trailer lets you know the wife dies.
Okay, first of all, if you never saw The Descendants, close your ears right now. Because I don't want to spoil it for you, but I'm about to spoil it. They didn't say that the wife was cheating and then died. And then he sits there and like berates her for like cheating. I was like, holy shit, that shit was deep.
Where he sat in front of like the coffin?
No, she was in a coma.
Oh.
She cheated on him with this dude and went on his boat and got into an accident. And fell off the boat and hit her head or something. She was in a coma. And while she's in the coma, he found out that she was cheating. Because he was on something like, what the fuck was she doing on a boat?
This is like, it's not like it, but it reminds me of the Harrison Ford movie when him and the other lady, I can't think who played the lady, their spouses died. Their spouses were on the plane.
Oh, I've heard of this
and
before.
The plane, like, did it crash? I don't know. But the spouses was having an affair. And then they fell in love. Remember that? It's from the 90s. I like that movie.
Is Anne Hesh in it 6 Days, 7 Nights?
No. Gotta go way back to the 90s.
Oh, It Lies Beneath? That's not it.
Mm-mm.
Random Hearts?
Yes.
I never saw that one.
Who was the lady?
The lady was... it's not moving fast enough. Film adaptation. Kristen Scott Thomas or Bonnie Hunt? Bonnie Hunt doesn't look good there.
I think it was Kristen Scott. Yeah, I think it was her. Anyway, that's an awesome movie.
Name was Dutch. Oh, your boo, Dennis Haysbert, isn't it?
He sure is. That's my sugar daddy. But these movies we've mentioned, I had some discussion questions. Why is it not okay for a man to say a romantic comedy is his favorite movie, or that he wants to, not necessarily favorite, that he wants to see it, or if he does say it, it's in a defensive way, like, okay, so what? I like The Wedding Planner.
I asked my boyfriend what his favorite rom-com was, and he said Mannequin.
Love Mannequin. Top 10.
Oh, he can like quote Hollywood.
I love part 2 as well.
Yeah, part 2 was really good.
Yeah, I love Mannequin. Love it. John told me his some romantic comedy he likes, and he said that's one of my favorite movies. I can't think of and I'm like, I can't believe you saw that, because he's like he's not a super duper movie person. He's a video game guy. So if you show him, like, if he sees a movie, it's like you have to like show it to him.
But have you ever watched like a romantic comedy or a romance movie with him? And
he's like, oh, that was good. It's almost like he'll say first, and then like once you start watching it, he'll be like, oh, okay. I'm not home yet, Mom. One of my other questions was, who is really responsible for chivalry dying? Because I've heard chivalry's dead and women killed it. But I wonder if people just abandoned chivalry because people made them feel like they were being put in a box. Like, I have to be manly all the time, and I have to be girly all the time, and I just want to be regular. I just want to walk. I just don't need you standing up and sliding out your chair and doing all these things. I just want to be regular.
I'm going to be an asshole and say women killed it. I'm going to tell you why. One, I think women got like, not that we shouldn't, we got way too big headed about this. Like, I don't need anybody. I can do it by myself. I don't need a man to do things. I've been guilty of that. You don't need to hold my door, bitch. I have arms.
Right.
Like,
and independence doesn't have to be about that you don't need somebody else.
But I also think that moms don't teach it to their sons anymore. So yeah, we killed it.
And maybe
right
mothers don't teach girls that it's okay to accept it all the time either.
All as well. Let's go with that.
Because being independent doesn't mean, nobody should need no adult should need another adult. Excuse me. No adult should need another adult. You with somebody because you want them.
Right, absolutely.
So, but I don't think independent means that it's not okay because you're independent that you don't want some companionship.
But as much as women are like, oh, I'll hold my own door, or I'll pull out my own chair, or I'll split the bill with you, we're still waiting for John Cusack outside of our bedroom with the boombox. Right. So, like,
and
make up your mind, ladies.
And I don't think that independent, or whether you're a feminist or I feel like independent being a woman being independent has been given a negative connotation.
Right.
And I think men are guilty of that too. Oh, you independent ladies, you don't need that.
Right.
Oh, you independent ladies, you don't need no.
You don't need roses.
Like, right. Like, and it's like, that's not what that was supposed to mean.
Right.
Independent was supposed to mean I'm not a weak, fragile person that you feel like any little thing is going to break me.
Right.
I think that was the point of the independent woman movement, is that I don't have to need you. I don't have to lean on you for everything. I don't have to be like subservient in order to have food and shelter.
Right.
Like, I think that was supposed to be the point, and it turned into a punchline. And now men are like, oh, you independent. I don't need to. And not all women mean it that way.
Right.
Not all women I think Destiny's Child got like a tough rap for bills, and men totally missed the point of that song.
Can we talk about how Michelle Williams' husband, after she took her meds?
Yes, we can. I feel like that song was saying the bills that you create and that you're running up and that you're using my car and using all my gas. Put gas back in the car. Like, I get, like, if you really listen to the words, that's what
I might have to go back and listen to that.
Listen to the words.
All I heard is, can you pay my bills?
Right. And
can
when
you pay
you,
my
when you
automobile?
when you listen to the chorus,
okay,
you'll hear her saying, put gas in my car after you run it out.
Bills. Here are the lyrics for the song Bills.
The cell phone that I got you, like, I don't know if she got it in his name, whatever. They're saying, pay the bills that you run up. Pay the bills that you create in my name.
You're slowly making me pay for things your money should be handling. And now you have to use my car. Drive it all day and don't fill up the tank. Okay. All right. Now you have the audacity to give comments at the minute. Nope. Yep. He's asking her for money.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But men totally went past that, and they just hear a woman say, can you pay my bills? And it's like, y'all gold diggers. Like, but it's like, I feel like, I feel like both people took part in it. Right. I feel like, I do feel like women, and I feel like independent women or women having equality, it doesn't mean that things can't be gender specific anymore. And I feel like people like, well, and people feel the need, I feel the need to say it, not all men, not all women, or it doesn't mean women can't do it themselves, or it doesn't mean a man has to. It's like we have to put all this extra on everything because it seems like, you don't want to make it seem like you're saying a woman can't do it. Like I know when, we had the discussion with Bridget about, she doesn't want a guy to, she says something of the nature, if she's holding the door for a guy, she doesn't want the guy then
grab
to
the door there.
Take the door and let her go.
Right.
And I feel like I get that, but I feel like if I'm just being nice to you, sir,
right.
Go ahead. But at the same time, it's like, women, we populate the earth. Like, we raise the kids, whether you have them, whether you don't have them, whether you adopt them, whether you give birth to them, whether you take in a niece or nephew. Like, we're the mothers of the earth. We keep the earth going. And for that, I feel like we deserve a little extra. Like, for that, I feel like you have to think of it in a way like Beyonce's mother said it it's a show called Black Love on OWN. And she talks about how after she was divorced and she saw her ex-husband get married, and she said she wrote down a list of all the good qualities about herself. And she said, like, I'm a bad sister and I deserve to be happy. I deserve a man who loves me. I deserve all the things I want. And it's the same thing as like women go not saying that there's no men out there who don't do it, but women go the extra mile for men. Mm-hmm. We think a little further along.
Right.
We think more about the future. This is just the truth. We think more about the future. We think more about what needs to be done. Men, y'all can lay down and go to go to sleep. And it's a straight up disaster outside.
Right.
And we're like, this door lock is, it could be the purge outside. Men will be knocked out. And you're like,
so
did I put the gate down? Is the alarm on? Is the cameras on? We're walking around the whole house with like 100 things on a to-do list and y'all knocked out. It's just the way it is.
Sometimes it's so simple. Like my boyfriend will like go through his clothes in the washer and then he'll go to sleep. I'm like, you need that uniform in the morning. How the fuck you think it's supposed to get dry?
Right.
And then I'm over here like, oh, I can't go to sleep until I can put it in the dryer. And then he wakes up in the morning. He has a dry uniform. How did that happen?
How did that happen? Because you didn't think Pat's washing it.
No.
He
When
said,
that
I need
washer went off buzz, you were like,
You said you need. He said I need a clean uniform.
Right.
You said you need a dry uniform.
Right.
It's nice if it's clean, but if it's wet, what is it gonna?
Right.
So he skipped a step.
Right. You can air it out on the train, like.
So basically, a lot of times we be 2 steps ahead of y'all. It's just the way it is, and I think that's gender specific too. We think all the way.
So what? Okay, so if a man has never watched a rom-com or a chick flick before, what do you think this weekend he should watch with his lady friend? What would you recommend?
Well, of course, I'm biased. I'm gonna say While You Were Sleeping. That's one of my absolute favorite. While You Were Sleeping. I love The Wedding Planner. I love that movie.
It's been on a lot.
The Wedding Planner. And face it, men like Jennifer Lopez. So watch The Wedding Planner. Watch Made in Manhattan. I'm trying to think of things that's on Netflix. Most people have Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of. I didn't care for the Lucy Liu and Taye Diggs movie. I can't even get through it. If I can't get through it, I don't like it.
Oh, I didn't watch it. Yeah.
I couldn't get through that. It's something on Netflix with Taye Diggs and Lucy Liu. I know that was weird. I'm trying so hard to think of something that's on Netflix that you could watch this weekend.
I'm trying to go right now to the movie. Let's see.
Let me bust out my Netflix. Let's really do this right.
Recommend some things for some people today. So How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is on Netflix.
Okay.
That one was kind of funny.
Okay, let's see.
Is Magic Mike a chick flick?
I haven't seen Been So Long with Michaela Cole. Let's all watch that because that looks awesome.
I want to see that.
Yeah,
it's in my watch list.
Somewhat of a musical.
Okay, don't start off with P.S. I Love You because it's a tearjerker, but it's really good. Ladies, you watch P.S. I Love You this weekend.
Something New with Sanaa Lathan. That's a good one.
I like that one too.
Made in America with Whoopi and
Dan.
Ted Danson. One of my favorite movies of all time is Whoopi Goldberg, Ted Danson, Will Smith, Nia Long. Favorite movies of all time. That's pretty much a romantic comedy. Napoli Ever After. That was pretty good. Nights in Rodanthe. That's Richard Gere and Diane Lane in their second movie together. If Unfaithful is on here, watch that first.
So like my ex had a problem. Like he didn't like Moonstruck because he thought it was like because it has to do with infidelity. Like you're missing the point.
Well, yeah, and I think too when there's some infidelity in there, watch Unfaithful. Hence the title. It's a little more real. Like everybody's not you gotta remember Unfaithful is not a romantic comedy. It's a thriller mostly, but you gotta remember there's some romantic comedies that got a little deepness to it.
You know what? That's kind of like a good movie, Unfaithful, for like somewhere in the middle, because like it is a thriller and guys might like that. There's a little more
romance because of the thrill of the title. Must Love Dogs. That's a good one. That's on Netflix.
And who doesn't love Mark Ruffalo?
And John Cusack is just...
I know. Is Mark Ruffalo in that? Maybe not. Maybe it's John Cusack.
I don't know what he's like in person, but he is just one of my favorite people on earth. So yeah, that's some stuff for you to get started. She's Gotta Have It. That's a Netflix show by Spike Lee based on his movie. That's a romantic show, episode-ish series.
And what could the ladies watch what's a good man flick? Role Models. It's really good, just a comedy.
You know what I would recommend ladies watch, actually? The documentaries about bodybuilding. Very interesting.
Really?
Very bodybuilding is not all that you may think it is. If you don't know anybody who does it or don't know much about it, it's not all you may think it is. So, while there's a few documentaries out there about bodybuilding, I would recommend watching those.
Furthermore, Cape Fear is now on Netflix, so I know what I'm watching this weekend.
Cape Fear is that movie scares the shit out of me every time I watch it. I don't watch it at night. I don't watch it by myself. I don't watch it with the house dark.
Counselor.
And I think the main thing is too, maybe we should stop calling them chick flicks and man pics. That's why we put it in quotes. They're movies. Movies are for everybody. Movies, there's going to be romantic movies, dark movies, thrillers. And you know what? I talked to some people, did a little research. Every time I mention romantic comedy to a woman, I heard, So, and another woman mentioned to me, she was one of the ones that went, when I said romantic comedy. She said she usually likes mysteries, documentaries, and martial arts movies, and men who take her out on dates. If she says, oh, you pick which movie we go to, he tends to pick a romantic comedy because he automatically thinks that's what she wants to watch. So don't stereotype us. Don't put anybody in a box. Don't stereotype anybody. If you are going to pick a movie, you're going out on a date, you're not sure what the guy may like, you're not sure what the girl may like, pick something in the middle. Don't pick a horror movie. Don't pick a war movie. Pick something in the middle. Maybe a light comedy. Doesn't have to be.
Well, Widows comes out this weekend, so if you guys go out to the movies.
Right, Widows. I mean, that's not going to be guts and gore, but it's going to be some shooting. But it's going to have some romantic element to it.
I don't think I want to see a girl in the spider's web. No.
Nah.
Not after that other shit.
Yeah, just go for something in the middle, like Wedding Crashers. That's a good in the middle movie.
I kind of want to see Nobody's Fool, but I don't want to pay full price for it.
Nobody's Fool. Yeah, that's an in the middle movie. It's not necessarily a yeah, it's not super. It doesn't look super. It looks more funny than romantic. Some movies are more funny than romantic.
Honestly, I didn't like. We went to go see Venom on Halloween, and like I love what's his face. I keep wanting to say Channing Tatum. That's on him. You know who I'm talking about, Venom. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. A lot of people I liked were in it. Like Riz Ahmed was in it too. But I was like, And I knew it wasn't like a Marvel movie because a lot of Marvel movies are funny. But it was really good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I gave it a chance.
I talked to somebody who said he's John Doe number 1. That's what I called him in my notes. Anyway, he said he and his wife like comic movies, anything Marvel, DC. His wife likes Harry Potter. He likes mostly comic movies, but he says she's more likely to pick a romantic comedy, but he has no problem going to see it. That was his take on the subject. I
think if you have somebody who's willing to compromise with you and not like box you into like, oh, you watch those rom-com movies but by yourself, you know.
One other young lady said she likes comedies. No, she said she likes dramas. Her boyfriend likes comedies. He'd see Think Like a Man, but not The Wedding Planner. So it's got to be more comedy than romance, like Step Brothers. I threw out Step Brothers or a Will Ferrell movie, and she said, yeah. And then this is on a separate, they weren't in the same room. I asked John Doe 1, would he pick more so a comedy, like a Will Ferrell movie or like a silly, funny, Anchorman or something like that, over like Think Like a Man or, Nights in Rodanthe? And he was like, yes. He would more so pick a Wedding Crashers, Step Brothers, what's the tall dude name from Wedding Crashers? One of his movies.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever his name.
Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn movie over like a, super, like a Jennifer Lopez romantic comedy, Meg Ryan. He would pick. So my thing is, if you like these movies and
you have a penis,
yeah,
it's okay.
You feel like you caught up in toxic masculinity, get out. You don't have to be like whatever you want. This was like one of our lighter
just shooting
podcasts. We love movies. We're big movie people, but I mean, it connects back to Bed Love Beyond though, because we want people to stop when it comes to love relationships. Stop putting yourself in a box. Go out there. A movie is a movie. And
it's good to switch it up sometimes. Like,
right,
ladies, we don't need to always get our way, and I think most guys are fair with that.
And I think it makes you look a little more, I mean, not that you want to look like something you're not, but I mean, if you're trying to be more open-minded and a little more like open-minded to what women want, you might think twice before you automatically take her to a romantic comedy thinking that's what she wants to see. If she's like, oh, I'll go see whatever, you pick the movie. Pick something you would like. Maybe she'll like it. Like, don't assume she wants to see a romantic comedy because she's a woman.
Right.
You know, if you see a war movie and it looks good, take her to see that. If she don't like it, she don't like it. I mean, you know, just this podcast was more like open your mind up to new things. Movies are awesome.
Trust me, there's some couples who are sitting there right now like, listen to them.
Yeah, like we're movie heads, so we're all into this stuff. So we're like, you know, go see some biopics, open yourself up to these things. Don't put yourself in a box. And when you're dating somebody,
I feel like you have to be
more open.
Yeah, you have to be more open. Like, I think.
And if you're not, that's probably the number one reason you're single.
Because let's be honest, the economy is not great. So even though you may not be able to go to the movies all the time, I'm sure you guys aren't going out and balling out of control. So sometimes it's just nights sitting at home watching movies together, which is completely fine. Quality time is quality time. But you want it to be like something you can both enjoy. So, you know.
And not that comedies can't teach, but maybe, you know, if your girl suggests watching a movie, maybe it's something you're going to get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's some lesson, there's some inspiration. Like sometimes you gotta watch was the Nelson Mandela movie Long Way Home? The book's like 400, 500 pages. So watch Idris. like I know you don't want to see Idris because you think Idris is not that cute in Long Way Home, Long Walk Home, whatever the Nelson Mandela movie is. Idris don't look that cute in it. So don't just close your mind up to it because Idris is in it.
Right.
You need to see something a little more inspirational. So you can't just go see Will Ferrell movies all the time. You gotta open yourself up to something that's going to teach you, going to inspire you, going to stir something up. When you got to go see those kind of movies too. So if your girl keeps recommending those movies, or if your guy keeps recommending those movies and you don't want to go see it, you know, stop being stuck on
your stuff.
Yeah.
Well, let me know what you guys go watch this weekend. Write into us.
Yeah, let us know.
Tell me that you tried something different.
Yeah, let us know if you went to go see something, if you watched any of the movies we recommended. Again, audible.com, free trials. Click on our Bed Love Beyond link. Go to Audible, download the new Michelle Obama Becoming, download Trevor Noah, Born a Crime. If you have a topic you want to explore, questions you want to ask, we're at bedlovebeyond@gmail, 201-8628-BED. You can text us, listen to us on Podbean, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, bedlovebeyond.com, Facebook /bedlovebeyond, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. I have a blog that I just sometimes go on to rant. So check a Truth Complex at wordpress.com or Truth Complex on Facebook. And once in a while, I have a rant coming. It's been formulating in my mind, so just
festering.
Yeah, check a couple times a week. It'll be up there.
I have a rant coming.
I got a lot of issues with the parents out here, so it's coming. So check that out. And that's it.
All right. Till next time. Peace.